guys, from Poseidon here. Going to do a review on the new Armstrong prone board, the surf foil. So this thing's just hit the market. There's a lot of hype surrounding it. I managed to spend quite a bit of time on it now. It's quite hard to get off it because of quite how good this board is. It's absolutely phenomenal. I'm getting asked quite a bit by people, it's a prone board, how can it be dramatically different? How can it be that much better? But Armstrong have done it again. They quite often raise the bar with their products, with their XPS, with their HA wings. They raise in what you can get out of a piece of kit, and they've done it here with their prone board again. This board is so much easier to get going, so much easier to ride, but at the same time there's so much more performance in this piece of kit. So they've absolutely nailed it in a single board for both ends of the spectrum of riding. It's a really special piece of kit. So I'm going to take it for a bit of a spin, have a bit of a chat about it. So running it today, performance mast with a 680, conditions out there, pretty pitchy waves, but also quite a bit of closeout. There's a bit of white water to get through. So the HA foils just got that low end which you're looking for. 865 performance mast, and the Kaohi leash, obviously the only choice. Little 5.5mm is a dream for prone, super lightweight. Board wise, what I'm running here, I've got the 32 litre, which is their mid-sized board. It's the 4 long. They go up from there and they go down from there. My kind of first impressions when I jumped on this board was how easy the 32 litre is. So personally, about 80 kilos, I bounced between kind of 30 litre and 35 litre boards. Went for 32 litre, was slightly cautious, is it going to get in as easy as I'd like? I almost feel straight away like I could drop a size and I could run the 28 litre as a daily. They paddle so well and they get going so easy. It's really phenomenal. So this thing, first of all, paddles really well. The shape of the board that they've gone for is very straight parallel rails, and it means whether you're paddling out or whether you're paddling into a wave, it just tracks really well. And it goes in a straight line really well, so it's not kind of spooning around at all, which really helps you gather your speed. Looking at the bottom shape as well to help it gather its speed, quite a different bottom shape. So the board here, what they've gone for, which is very different, is this totally flat bottom shape. So almost like a skimming stone. It's totally flat from the back of the track here all the way up to the very nose of the board. There's no rocker whatsoever, and it means that it just accelerates very quickly. It's like a skipping stone, so as soon as you get any speed from the wave, it just blasts itself down. So with that flat rocker, you might think that you might stick the nose in, but what they've done here right at the very top is they've got this kind of dramatic rocker, double concave with a bit of a V, which tracks really nice, and it just stops you burying the nose. And this is really noticeable to gathering its speed but making it very forgiving. The back here, it's got just a very subtle bit of sweep, kind of tail rocker right at the back here, which you really notice the difference, because boards which have got a completely flat tail, sometimes they can sort of stick to the water and it can be hard to bounce up. But this board, the Armstrong Surf, it just kind of springs off the water there. So it accelerates really quick, where, you know, on your takeoff, it makes it very easy. But the other thing I think you're looking for out of a prone board is stability. So at that moment when you've gathered speed and you've paddled and you put your hands down, you're trying to pop up, if these tines are cut away a lot to aid in performance so it doesn't bite the water, with that lack of volume on the rail, sometimes if your balance is off, or if it's a white water takeoff and the water's really turbulent, it can be really unforgiving to your takeoff and your positioning. But what Armstrong have done is they've carried the volume all the way to the rails, and for sure it's got this beveling which helps it not bite on touchdown, which is really impressive. It handles that really good. But the volume distribution is right the way to the edge, which means that it's very forgiving in your hand placement and your pop-up, and it's very forgiving on a white water takeoff. With that volume distributed really evenly to the edge, to gain its, this one is a 32 litres, the side benefit of that is they're able to make the board a lot slimmer. So that instantly gives you a more connected feel to the mast, which is really good. So, this prone board it makes it very forgiving and it makes it very user-friendly. You can get in easy, you can ride waves easy, you can pop up very, very easy. But then it feels like a performance piece of kit. And the way I think they've got that is, this is no longer an FG board, so a forward geometry, where the mast track might sit, you know, about here on the board if it were that. They've slid the track right the way back to the tail here. So the reason they've done that is to make the board, put the position of the mast further back, which makes the board, or makes you ride as a rider, a little bit more off the back foot, and pivot off the tail of the board, so the nose swings around and it feels more like a short board. It feels more driving. It encourages you to push through the turn off the back foot and drive a much more short board sort of a style. And you really feel that, and it really feels grippy through the water, and it kind of encourages you to throw it around, and it gives you a lot of confidence that it's not going to slip at any point. The numbers correlate, so if you were running on 6 on your normal board, you know, your older board, your FG board, your surf, you'd run on 6 again on this sort of size. And that's a really noticeable thing when you jump on there, and it makes it feel more lively, like instantly. It's really fun, and it's a really drivey feel that encourages you want to throw it around. This track itself, it feels rigid, and this is the other thing that you look for out of a prone board, I think, is you want rigidity. So when you're up and you want to feel connected to the foil, you want to pump around, and all of your energy and all of the foil's energy is connected, and you can feel each other, and you can drive what you want, and you can feel everything. If you feel disconnected from the foil, that's quite hard. But this carbon track they use, which is mounted to carbon stringers, which is mounted to the top plate, means when you're standing on it, and with this slimmer board, it almost feels like you're stood on a block of carbon. So you feel everything that's going through the water, and all of the energy you put in while you're pumping or while you're turning is instantly connected through. So your foils feel more lively. It feels like you're on a more performance kit, and that kind of sensation when you jump up to the performance mast, you feel more connection. You've got that again with this board, where you feel more connected to it. The top shape, it's got this lovely deck pad on it, traditional at the back here. You are stood on the back, and whereas a lot of prone boards, they give you this kick and they give you, this shaping, but realistically, because of mast position, you're stood ahead of it. You're not on this, you're stood back here because of that rear placed track. The grip works really well at the front, and they've got these kind of kinked edges up on the side, which really helps you feel where you are, and especially if you ride with more of an offset stance, you'll know exactly where you are on the edge of the board. It's not massive, but you can just kind of subtly feel it. So genuinely what they've created here with Armstrong is a board which is easier, it's more forgiving, but at the same time it is more exciting and more lively to ride. So it's this really special piece of kit that I think that's hit the market, which has raised the bar by quite a lot and created a product which I think everybody's going to enjoy. It's a prone board, for sure you can wing it, weapon for towing, but for surf foiling, it gets in easy, it's lively to ride, it's forgiving, and it's aggressive. It's kind of this perfect do everything sort of a board. 32 litres feels like a staple, that's a classic. Obviously you can go up if you want to make it easier, or if you're a bit heavier. You can go down easily and confidently with these boards because it does paddle in so well. So if you're looking for a new prone board, whether you're beginner or whether you're advanced, I would highly recommend checking this thing out. The Armstrong surf foil. I'm not going to say game changer, but I think Armstrong have raised the bar in just about everything you're looking for out of a prone board. It's a really good piece of kit. If you want more info, if you want to try one out, you want to get your own, give us a shout. I'm Chris, and we're Poseidon-watersports.com. You.